This is The Recap, a weekly reflection on the sermons of Fellowship Baptist Church in Maineville, Ohio, seeking to help you make Jesus essential in every aspect of your life. I'm your host, Ryan Land, and I'm here with the preacher of this week's sermon, Brent Wilson. Welcome back to the table, Brent.
It's good to be back at the table.
Gather around the table.
I like the other side better, but
You like this side better?
I do. I don't know.
Maybe we can switch next week permanently.
Well, I won't even be on next week.
Oh, that's true.
Nathan's preaching next week.
Spoiler alert. Nathan's preaching next week. All right. We'll have Nathan on to talk about Mr. M.
Meshibafeth.
Nope.
I can't say it.
Is that why?
That's why I'm not preaching on
it. You can't even say the character's name. You're like, I gotta skip this one.
Mr. M.
Mephibosheth.
Yeah, that one.
This is like shibboleth. It's like how you know if someone's legit or not. You got to test their shibboleth. Okay, what does that come from? What Old Testament story does shibboleth come from? Do you know off the top of your head? Me neither.
Honestly, I know that Old Testament story from
the West Wing.
The West Wing.
Me too. Okay, ice break. Let's break the ice. You ready?
Yeah.
I feel the staring at each other vibe. It is a little different. It takes some getting used to.
Let me give you a hard stare.
Oh no, your daughter does that to me all the time.
Which one?
Scarlett.
Oh yeah.
She loves to give me a hard stare.
Yeah.
I can't really do it. I'm not.
You're not bear enough.
That's from Paddington Bear. If you did not know, there's one perfect movie in this world, and it's Paddington 2. I don't know. There's maybe more. Fellowship of the Ring is pretty perfect.
Princess Bride's pretty perfect.
Oh, Princess Bride, pretty perfect. I feel like it's me. No one be mad at me about this. But I feel like after they deliver him to Miracle Max and he's like mostly dead, I feel like it kind of gets a little slow.
That's true.
But that's just me. No, okay. Here's my icebreaker question. Nothing to do with movies, but we talk about David dancing before the Lord, and you're like a bit of a singer in the car. Do you sing in the shower?
Not so much in the shower.
When you clean or anything, you like sing?
If I'm listening to music.
Okay.
One time I was mowing the lawn, listening to music, singing, and my neighbor comes looking at me weird, like, oh, he can hear me.
Okay, that was gonna be my question. It's like, have you ever had a moment where you're like doing a chore or whatever, and someone is like caught you like singing or dancing, and you didn't know anyone was
mowing
watching
the lawn? Yeah, I'm like so belting funny. It, whatever I'm singing.
What were you? Oh, you don't remember?
Probably some Christian saying. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
I was thinking maybe it was Hamilton.
I wasn't into Hamilton yet.
Okay.
That was in Kentucky.
Oh.
Yeah, I was on the riding lawnmower.
Way back.
Had a big yard.
Lots of room.
Yeah. And
we can play football.
Yeah, and so I was belting it. And then I look over. It's like, oh, my neighbor's out in his yard, and he's hearing me,
like watering his grass.
Yeah.
He's like, what the heck?
But you have headphones in and the noise in the lawnmower. You think you're in your own little safe, in your little cone of silence, and you're not.
That is the danger of like noise cancellation on AirPods.
Yeah.
Like, anyone could be around.
Yeah.
I feel like it's happened that I don't have like a specific memory of a time that happened to me, but I just feel like it has had to have happened to me a lot because I do like to sing and dance when no one's around. So yeah, that's one of my.
I feel like it happens to me probably
pastimes.
On Sunday morning more than I think. That I'm just singing, I think no one can hear me, and other people probably can hear me around me.
No, you only think that because we stand close to you, and we will tell you sometimes. Like, man, I could hear Brent getting after it today.
Yeah,
and so we'll just tell you. That's the only reason you think that.
Well, there's other people near me, so I'm assuming they can hear me.
That's true. Your kids.
Maybe Brad behind me.
I sometimes worry about if Nathan can hear me, but then I remember he has his in-ears in.
Yeah.
So, but I'm like, I don't want Nathan to judge me about my singing.
Or I get him off. Off key.
Or like I enter before, and I'm like, I don't want his confidence to be thrown off if I'm entering at the wrong spot.
Yeah.
So, I think that has probably just happened to me too many times to be notable.
Well, let me throw a question at you since we're talking about music. We don't talk about music very much.
That's true.
What would you say is like your all-time favorite music genre?
Oh, dang. All-time favorite music genre. That's hard. There's like,
what are you into right now?
Inside of me, there are two wolves.
Okay, yeah.
And one wolf is like indie, like folk music, like the Avett Brothers, or there's a band called Dawes that I really like. And so there's that side of me, kind of skewing towards like folk, like country, kind of like that, singer-songwriter kind of stuff. But then I also just I just kind of love some pop music. I was really into Lady Gaga for a while.
Oh, yeah, that's fascinating.
Like Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Sabrina Carpenter is the new one. Olivia Rodrigo, kind of all that really pop, like girly pop, bubblegum pop kind of music. it kind of gets me. It's like just fun. It's energetic. So, so I feel like that's kind of where I live. I also love disco. I love disco music.
Fascinating.
I love ABBA. I love Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Okay.
What about you? You've been on your punk.
Yeah, lately I've been on a 90s to early 2000s punk pop sort of Secondhand Serenade, that kind of Avril Lavigne.
Secondhand Serenade had a very notable song in an episode of Smallville. Maybe even the pilot of Smallville.
What is it?
I can't remember.
Huh.
But I remember it being it's not I don't know that it's notable in real life. It's notable in Smallville. So
gotcha.
That's how I know the Secondhand Serenade.
But I would say, growing up, it was country. So old Garth Brooks, that kind of stuff. But
90s country.
Yeah, real country. Early Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Fearless.
When she was a country artist.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift, Fearless.
Yeah. But then I would
Teardrops on my guitar.
But I would say that folky, like Gray Havens, Andrew Peterson, whatever you call that.
If there's a mandolin or a banjo involved, I'm going to be interested.
Yeah. But songs that are like storytelling or it's just super thoughtful.
Dude,
early Gray Havens, it's like, I got to think about this.
You got to get into the Arcadian Wild. I've been
listening.
Oh, they're so good.
They're good. I like them.
They're so good.
Yeah.
They have a great Christmas album. We listened to it while packing.
November 1st. Oh, that's a great question.
Operation Christmas Child boxes. But yeah. I just want to be clear. We were not listening to Christmas music for general purposes. I'm a hard after Thanksgiving person.
Oh yeah. We've
Darcy's not. Darcy's an early November.
Yeah, we've become birthday. November 1st people.
Yeah. That's kind of where we are.
Christmas season is. We're decorating November 1st.
The first year we were married, me and Darcy were married. Her birthday's November 8th. On November 8th, it snowed. And Darcy was like, "Come on. Can't we put maybe it was the 7th even.
Yeah.
Can't we put our Christmas stuff up? It's snowing outside." I'm like, "How do you say no?" Your honeymoon period, your first marriage, you're anything you want. Anything you want. And so now that has just continued on in tradition that we're now
my
early
thing,
November people.
My thing is it's so much work.
That is true.
That I'm going to both enjoy it and put as much time between that and having to tear it down as I can.
Yeah. I don't think I took my lights down until February last year.
Oh yeah.
I just left. I didn't turn them on, but I left them up because I was like, well, one, you got to wait till the weather, here, you got to wait till the weather clears up for you to get on your roof.
That's true.
And so when I grew up, we didn't have to worry about that. If it snowed, it was for a day and then it was gone, and it was 80 degrees a week later or something. So it was you could get the lights off the house, but it took me a while last year. That is work.
That is work.
But we've a little bit cracked the code because we have in our basement storage room, we don't even put our Christmas trees in boxes anymore.
I don't either.
We just carry them.
I just leave it out.
It's I don't want to fluff it. I don't want to. They're just out, and we'll just carry it up and then decorate it.
Me too.
But
Darcy, I was like the Grinch carrying it upstairs.
Yeah, Darcy has a very particular way she usually wants the Christmas tree decorated. So I'm usually just handing her ornaments and stuff.
Yeah,
but she's putting tinsel on it, and she's putting foil stuff in it. It's more than I know how to do. It's too much design. When I was we just throw it up there.
Oh yeah.
But here in a couple of years, we'll probably just be throwing stuff on there because we'll have a kid wanting to decorate it.
You have to make sure you put some stuff on the back to weigh it down. You put everything on the front, it falls over.
Fall on your kid. Dang. Well, we put ours in front of our window.
We put all the ugly ornaments in the back.
We put ours in front of our window, so we kind of have to decorate it both sides.
Oh, that's true.
Because people driving by, they're like, look how cute their Christmas tree is. Probably never happens. Okay, let's talk about the sermon.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah, I hope I can talk about the sermon. I honestly don't remember it.
You use brain fog? Come on, dude, it's Monday.
Yeah, so
it is. What did they say on? You said this a couple weeks ago about football?
Yeah. It's Review Monday or whatever.
Yeah. And it's next week, Tuesdays.
No, but I'm saying so if you weren't at church, I got a migraine as we were singing, and call Ryan over and like, hey, all right, we got to make a decision. Either
It was so serious. He's like, Ryan, we got to make a call. And I was like,
right now.
Okay. Like, I had no idea what was about to come.
I was like, either you're going to preach or we've got to interrupt the music and I'm going to preach right now. And then we'll pick up music back up.
And I said, that one.
So
the second one, please.
So my vision's getting all blurry and headaches coming. So thankfully someone brought me some medicine.
Shout out Ben Swingers.
Ben Swingers brought me some pills.
The nurses.
And we went going. But I honestly don't remember a lot of it. I was in a weird mental space with the migraine. So
well, maybe
but I remember my notes.
Maybe okay. Maybe we can offer some clear if there was any. I don't think there was any confusion. I think it was. I feel like at the beginning you were like, I can't even read. But once people keep wanting to say it's the drugs that kick. I don't think so. I think you just locked in.
Well, my aura it's like blurry. Like it moved. So eventually I got to the place where I could see better.
Okay, you know about like how that's like a Gen Z term,
aura,
or Gen A term, like aura.
I don't know what it means.
It means like you have like vibe, like immaculate vibes, like you have aura. And like to stand and pose or something. That's called aura farming.
Okay.
And so you kept talking about your aura the other day, and I was like, y'all, Brent has such aura.
Dude, I am so over Gen Z slang.
It's not even Gen Z, it's Gen Alpha now.
I can't even with it. Like my kids will not stop saying 6, 7. It's like, please stop. Y'all are homeschooled.
That's so funny. How did they learn about it at youth?
Probably.
Sorry, that's my bad. I literally can't say
those. Co-op or something.
I literally can't say the numbers in sequence. Like, so when I dismiss the kids to class, I dismiss the 7th, 8th, and 6th graders because I can't say those two numbers in sequential order.
It's lasted longer than I thought it would.
Me too. But I did hear someone say on like ESPN or something the other day, they were like, my kids don't think it's funny anymore because adults have started saying it. And so that's how you know like some meme is dead when adults start saying it. So maybe we can kill it.
Let's put it to
shout out there. Start saying 6, 7 around your kids. Kill this.
And then they'll think it's lame.
You know what's not lame?
David.
The 5th book of the Narnia franchise.
Oh, dude.
The Silver Chair.
It's one of my top favorites.
It is it might be my favorite. It's been a while since I read them, but it might be my favorite. Yeah. But I want to talk about the scene you used as an opening illustration about so you got Jill Pole wants to drink from the stream. You got Aslan standing there, and she won't go drink
because she doesn't know Aslan. She just sees a lion.
Yeah, it's her first time in Narnia, and she asks him this question like, Have you ever eaten a girl? Mm-hmm. And he's like, I've swallowed nations. Like like the most intense answer. And she says, then I won't come drink.
He's like, then you will die.
Yeah, and so help us like think through first, as sort of an introduction to the rest of the sermon, this tension between God's goodness and God's,
not tameness.
Yeah, like so his nearness almost, his kindness, his love, his compassion, but then also his power, his holiness, particularly in the first story we see. That's kind of where this is setting up. Was you have the story of Uzzah.
Is that how you say it?
I don't know.
I don't know how you say it.
You said Uzzah yesterday, I think. But either way you say it, sounds like a Star Wars character.
That's true.
So talk about that tension between like God being good, but also not tame.
Yeah. Well, I think we get the goodness part, right? Because we talk a lot about in our culture, God is love. He's a God of love and da-da-da-da-da. And, Christianity really pushes that whole idea. And so I think the tension there is, okay, well, if he's good and if he's loving, then that can kind of mean that I can just kind of tramp around. What's that word?
Trounce
around and do whatever I want. And prance around and do whatever I want. And he's going to be fine because he's loving, right? I can just do whatever I want. It's like, actually, no, when you ask him to move so you can get to the water that you want, he ain't going anywhere. He's like, no. That's not how this works. You don't tell me what to do. I'm standing right here. And can you eat me? Can you hurt me? Well, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. I've done that before.
I've destroyed nations.
Yeah. I swallowed boys and girls. And so it's like, if you want the blessing, you want the water, you got to take it on my terms. I'm going to be right here. And so I just thought it was so helpful for me thinking about David, and there's 30,000 people that are going to move the Ark of the Covenant. And, there's several things that they do that I guess we'll get into, but that is just a disregard for the power and the presence and the holiness and the majesty of God. And it's kind of them just skipping along to their own beat, doing their own thing. Like, oh yeah, come along, God. Instead of, okay, this is serious. So I think it's going to the stream without the fear of being bit. And we need the fear that we might get bit.
Yeah. I think that's helpful. So you mentioned bringing the Ark of the Covenant. Before we get into the actual story, talk about a little bit what's happened in the. So where last we left our heroes, David was just returning to Judah, sort of. He was kind of teasing his return because I preached last, right? Okay, and then we jumped in this week. David was king, and so kind of walk us through
where we've been, what's happened.
Yeah, what's happened. And why bringing the ark back to Jerusalem is so significant, and why David chose to do that as his kind of like first act.
Yeah. So there's a battle, and Saul and Jonathan are both killed, and
Saul kills himself, right?
Don't remember.
Doesn't he fall on his own? Isn't that where that term comes from? Fall on his own sword?
He might, yeah.
I think he does. Because I think he asks his like shield bearer to do it, and he's like, I'm not killing the king.
Yeah, no, I think
Saul's
you're right.
like, all right.
Yeah. The crazy part about that whole story is that there's some other dude who like finds out that it happens, and he comes to David and he's like, hey, and he like takes something of Saul's. He's like, hey, I killed Saul for you.
And David goes,
and he's like, who are you to touch the Lord's anointed?
And he cuts this dude down where he stands, right?
Kills him.
Crazy.
It's like, and these other two dudes I'm about to tell you about, it's like, they must not have heard that story because they didn't learn from it.
They were not privy to that, that happening.
So Saul dies, Jonathan gets killed in the battle, and then David pretty quickly becomes king of Judah, right? So Judah's kind of one of the tribes, but it's kind of so big that it kind of becomes the southern kingdom. This is kind of foreshadowing what will happen after David's kingship. But he becomes the king of Judah. They anoint him, hey, you're a king. But then the northern kingdom, Israel, I can't say this dude's name, but it's Saul's other son. I want to call him Bosepheth, but it's like Ishbosheth. He becomes king.
Ishbosheth. Something super fantasy, I feel like.
So he becomes king and is king for a little bit, not very long. And two guys realize like, hey, we're going to go kill him in his sleep, and we'll take his head to David and then get rewarded or whatever. So they kill him in his sleep, cut his head off, bring him to David, and David's like, who are you to kill the Lord's anointed's family? Right? And kills them. But then he becomes king over all that.
I did not, you said that on Sunday. I did not know there was like this lame duck between Saul and David.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
The other thing that's interesting is David's right hand kind of guy, I can't remember his name. They're like kind of in this whole thing. They try to recruit Abner. So Abner's like, okay, this dude's not the guy, Saul's son. So he has the secret meeting with David. It's like, hey, he can become our general because he's been Saul's general. But the problem was in some like little skirmish they had, Abner killed David's current right hand man's brother. Like they were chasing after him, and he like fell on his spear or whatever. And so that guy's like, no, we ain't having that. So he calls Abner over in the hallway, and he's like, and he kills him.
This is so crazy.
He's like,
if you're not reading along with us, like through this, First and Second Samuel are so crazy.
Oh yeah, it's wild. A lot of killing.
Yeah.
And so that guy's like, no, Abner, you're not gonna be a part of this. You killed my brother. And so he takes him out. And David kind of grieves that. He's pretty sad about it. But then David becomes king of Israel. He gets anointed by those people there, and so now he's the king. And so his kind of first act of business is, we got to bring the ark back, because the Ark of the Covenant is not like in Indiana Jones, where there's like ghosts coming out of it or whatever. I haven't seen that movie in so long.
I think it's supposed to be angels.
No, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's kind of creepy.
Dude's face melts.
But
so awesome.
The Ark of the Covenant.
That movie's so good. Okay, sorry, keep going.
The Ark of the Covenant is is the manifestation, if you will, of the presence of God. Like God is particularly present on, near, around the Ark. And so when Israel would go into battle before this, they would bring the Ark and God was going to fight with them. And then if they left the ark at home, they lost. And when they brought the ark with them, the battle would begin to change, and they would win. It was in the holy of a holy place in the tabernacle. It was the high priest would make his yearly sacrifice on top of the ark,
the mercy seat, right?
on the
Which
mercy
on
seat.
top of
And they'd sprinkle blood on it, and so like this is like how you know God's with you. It's if this thing's with you, and so David's like, hey, the last king has been trying to rule and reign on his own power, his own appearance, his own strength, and without God, my kingdom is going to be marked by the presence of God, and God is the real king. One of the interesting things is sometimes David refers to himself as the prince, that God is maybe prince over Egypt or prince over Israel, and that's because he's kind of recognizing he's a little king under God as the true king. And so David's like, we've got to bring the ark back. We got to bring the presence of God back into Israel. And so it's just been chilling in some dude's like closet.
It's in a warehouse with like 1,000 other crates.
And so they go to this guy. How far do you want me to go? I can't remember what you asked me.
Just up to this story.
Okay, so they're gonna go get the ark, bring the presence of God back to Israel.
The only other thing that I think is just important about that is the Davidic covenant happens right before this, right?
Yeah,
and it's all about God's presence.
Yeah,
and it's like there's this sort of foreshadowing of the temple, the creation of the temple, and which hasn't been built yet. And so there's just this really strong emphasis on God's presence that tips David off, I think, to be like, well, then we're gonna go get the ark and honor it, right? And so we definitely see like you already pointed this out, it's like the contrast between Saul and David, and that is going to kind of come to a head in one of the stories we look at, almost in just like it's their influence as leaders, not even just like a direct conflict. But so first we talked about how did you say it? Uzzah or Uzzah?
I said Uzzah.
Uzzah. Okay. So we talked about Uzzah touching the ark, dying, and this was kind of the point you made that God's presence. Well, this isn't really word for word, but this idea that God's presence is not a right to us, right? It's like it's a gift from Him. And so you made this comment. Uzzah assumed his hand was less dirty than the dirt. Unpack that for us, that line, and how it changes how we think about our own sin and God's holiness.
So they're grabbing the ark, they're taking it, and they do two things wrong. The first is that they put it on a flatbed trailer that pulled by an ox. And this is what, when the Philistines had taken the ark in a previous battle some years ago, they had done the same thing. And so it's the kind of point is like they're treating this the same way the pagans do, who have no respect for it. And so it's on this ox cart, and the ox stumbles, hits a pothole, whatever, and the trailer's about to tip, and so the ark's about to come down. So this guy who's just walking along with it puts his hand up as a reflex to stop it from touching the ground, and the second he touches it, he drops dead. And
do you think it fell on top of him?
It doesn't seem to. That'd be interesting.
He didn't. So it's like he's tried to stop it. And
I don't think it's heavy though.
It's like
it's wood.
I know, but it's like plated in gold.
Yeah,
right?
There's some gold. I mean, I'm sure it's not like super light, but not like crushing.
And how thin is the gold? Or how thin is the wood?
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
Anyway,
but so he touches it, dies, and the assumption there is that his hand was cleaner than the dirt. That his hand wouldn't defile it, but the dirt would. Right? Because you think, oh, this thing's holy. I can't let it touch the ground. Right? But the ground has never disobeyed God. And has never rebelled against God. And the ground obeys God's every command. Whereas this Uzzah guy is a sinner and has rebelled against God. And so you touch God, you die.
Yeah. What does that then say? You reference that, I just want to be super clear, about God's holiness, right? As if even just a touch of not even his actual, like,
it's not his
the
body.
idea of like not even his body, right?
Yeah.
It's just like a manifestation of his power, of his presence. Like it just drops you dead.
It's partially where we get this idea. People will say this phrase, right? Like that sin can't be in the presence of God, right? Which is not technically true.
Yeah.
But that's the idea, right? That God is so holy, so removed, so other, so different, so pure, that anything Bless you.
Thanks.
That anything.
One more.
Oh, one more.
No, I talked midway through it, so it faked out.
So he's so pure that anything with even the most minor infraction, impurity, dissolves in its presence, right? Like basically God's justice and wrath is executed against that thing immediately. Right. Which really is just future judgment being brought early. Not even early, but just like speeding it up from when God was planning to do it. And so it says two things. It says, one, God is way more holy than you think he is. And you are also way more sinful than you think you are.
Yeah.
Dirt cannot make the presence of God dirty, but you can.
Yeah.
And so,
It's like that idea you were talking about at the beginning. It's like Jill Pole just like running up to the stream and drinking without a concern of what
but she does
the
it
lion might do to her.
Right, but she does it because she can sense this thing's going to eat me.
Yeah.
Right? Like and can you move? No.
Yeah.
Right.
So it kind of just like this idea that it's dangerous to approach God to I don't really know how to say it, but it's like just like kind of on our own
or flippantly
terms. Yeah, flippantly, right? Yeah. Like without a concern. But then you talked about this idea that we like to talk about like this authenticity, right? This like sense. It's like, well, God knows even when I did the wrong thing, like God knows my heart. So like how does this story kind of contrast with that idea of like, oh, but God knows my heart. I'm being sincere in my worship or whatever.
Yeah, I think it blows that idea out of the water. I think the idea that, oh, God knows my intentions or my heart, and so even though I may have done the wrong thing, he knows I had good intentions, does not matter one bit. And God isn't concerned so much about. Actually, I think that the whole premise of that is actually faulty, because it's not like we do the wrong thing, but our motivation was good. It's like the reason we did the wrong thing was because our heart was messed up and wicked, because it's from the overflow of the heart that the mouth speaks, right? It's from the overflow of the heart that our actions come out. And so it's not actually that, well, our inside was good and our outside was bad. But no, your inside was actually bad too.
The reason your outside was bad is because your inside was bad.
Yeah. And so even saying that is faulty in and of itself. And so I think it's just foolish thinking. And really is a way that we're trying to justify ourselves, because it's like, well, God knows my heart, so I can just do this thing. It's really a way of saying, well, I just kind of want to do things my way.
Yeah.
I want to do things I want.
Yeah. Which kind of leads me to my next, I want to aim this a little bit more, because we're going to talk about worship. Is that attitude, I think, gets moved into like our worship, particularly when I'm saying worship now, I'm saying like our singing and praising on Sunday mornings or gathered, and that we think of it as, well, like this is just something, and if I do it sincerely, it can't be wrong. Why do we struggle, and how do we fight against this idea that our worship is just kind of like what we want to do sincerely, instead of it being like on God's terms? Does that make sense? It was a long question.
Say that last part.
Like why do I don't even know how to say just the last part. But it's like why do we struggle? I think the modern church, why do we struggle to see our worship, our praise and worship, service as on God's terms, rather than how we usually look at it, which is just like, oh, I'm just worshiping God how I want because it's sincere.
Yeah. I think you probably write a book on this.
We'll do it.
Well, I don't know that I know all the answer, but it seems to be connected to just like Western individualism. And we live in a country and a time and a space where we grew up, you can be whatever you want to be, follow your dreams, follow your heart, follow your heart. And so, you can do whatever you want, where you're free, your freedom, all those things, I think, and whatever's behind all those things, and has cultivated us into people who say, well, that I should be able to worship God however I want, because I'm free and I can do whatever I want. I can follow my dreams, and I'm me, I'm an individual, and this is how I express me. And And, as Americans, particularly, and really just all kind of modern Western people, we don't really know what it's like to live under a king, under a monarchy, under rule. We are the epitome of freedom. I can do whatever I have freedom of speech. I can say whatever I want. Right. And so I can do these things. And so I think something about that has made us where it's like, well, if I want to worship God like X, Y, or Z, then who are you to tell me I can't?
Yeah. I think that is like at the heart of the issue. A lot of the times is, well, I've got my way, and who are you to tell me different?
That my way's wrong.
And
part of that too, I mean, when you say it that way, it made me think it's like also like when we've lost the idea of absolute truth, my truth, your truth. And it's like, well, who are you to tell me my truth's wrong?
Yeah, for sure. And so when we're just like, well, this is what I believe and you can believe different. It's like, but what if you believe or what I believe is wrong, and not even wrong, just damaging.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and so how do you, it creates a wall you can't push through.
Yeah.
So I do think there is particularly, and I think this would be, here's a chapter of the book. We talk about worship in terms of it's so personal, and it's not. It's communal. Like we worship together as a church.
Yeah.
Right. And so we have talked about worship, I think, is this personal thing. Just like, hey, just imagine it's just you and God.
Right.
Right. It's like, no, don't do that, because it's never going to be that. Because even in the new heavens, the new earth, even in heaven right now, it's like throngs, thousands of millions of people, worshiping. And so, but when it's just you and God, well, hey, this is good for me over here and just you over there. And it just like segments us. And so to think that worship's not just this like personal thing. It's not just this individual thing. It's a communal thing we do together as a church.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
Continuing on that, we talk about, so David kind of reacts to this,
Uzzah
this
dropping
thing
dead.
with Uzzah dying, and you talked about how it changed how they approached moving the ark. And so instead of putting it in the cart, they're carrying it like they were supposed to. And like, not only that, like they're it's like every 6 steps, right? They make a sacrifice.
Yeah. It's a little unclear in the text. And I saw some people kind of go either way. Either after the first 6 steps, they stop and make a sacrifice and then go the rest of the way.
Oh, or every 6
Or
steps.
every 6 steps. I'm not really sure which one it is.
Okay. But there's sacrifice being made.
Yeah.
And so talk just about that aspect a little bit of how worship is transformative.
Yeah.
But like in our obedience and our knowledge of God and those things.
Yeah, it's like this is how it should work, right? That we do something where we see the like it goes wrong, it goes bad. Someone calls us out. We read a scripture that really challenges us. The sermon steps on our toe. Something happens, and it's like, oh, I don't know what I think about that. That's hard. I don't like that. That's uncomfortable. That's not what I believed before. Whatever the case may be.
Or, sorry, just a little bit on the more positive side. Like, you know what? I do have the power of the Spirit to go share. Oh, I never thought about that. The gospel with my coworker.
Could
right?
be positively.
It could be challenge, right? But it can also be like the wind in your sails, right? To go live differently.
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw that out there.
And so David then goes off and he's got 3 months to think about it. Right. But for us, it'd be like, we'll get to go home and the week, and I'm reading more, thinking more, praying more, just wrestling with whatever thought, whether it's positive, negative, whatever. And so it's in that wrestling, David's obviously done some reading because now he knows how they're supposed to carry the ark, and they do it right this time. And so just, so we experience that, we wrestle, and then we grow through this experience of trying to figure out that thing that challenged us. And now we have the answer. Now we come back to worship like different and more alive and more energetic and more knowing God better, knowing ourselves better. Right. So it's like, that's what David has learned. He's learned, oh, God is more holy than I thought he was. We got to make a sacrifice.
Yeah.
God's more holy than I thought he was. We got to carry this thing on poles. I'm more sinful than I thought I was. We can't touch this thing.
So imagine this story happens in 2025. we have this, relic of God's power, of God's presence. Someone touches it and this someone dies. What do you think might be the response from people now? Particularly, and the reason I'm asking this is because I don't think our modern worship services, particularly our modern worship music, is particularly challenging. In a way that a situation like this should be, encouraging to change, right? And so, one, how do you see like our failure to kind of heed the warning of this story, and how do we as a church try to cultivate that more transformative, formative aspect of worship?
Okay. I've got a couple thoughts here.
Okay.
So first, if we found it, let me answer that kind of first. So if we found it and someone touched it and died, right? What do I think we would do? I think we would scientism it. We would explain it away. It was a fluke.
He had a heart attack or whatever.
Yeah. We would we wouldn't see the mystery and the spiritual reality and the power of God in it. We would have some physical explanation. And I think,
go ahead. But let's say we did. Let's say we're understanding it the way the Israelites or that David understood it. Do you think we would have been transformed or changed? Do you think the church would have been able to be challenged or changed?
Yeah, you certainly can see a scenario in which if we got that, like that leads to revival, right? It wakes us up. Revivals are really one of the markers of them are a re-realization of the holiness of God. And so it's like, oh my gosh, I think it would be like a was that Ezra 7 moment, right? Where everyone's on their knees, reading the scriptures, lifting hands, and it's just this big worship service and just repentance and woe. Woe is it's like when Jonah goes to, where does he go?
Nineveh.
I
was like, where's he go, or where's he supposed to go?
Where's he supposed to go? Nineveh. It's like the Ninevites, right? They're like, God's going to destroy us. We're the whole nation's fasting, and we're in sackcloth and ashes and praying, God have mercy. So you can see where we could respond that way if we saw the sign clearly. But you asked an interesting question. You said,
I guess the reason I'm just a little bit more pessimistic. And
so that was my first response. I think we would explain it away.
I think people mostly would just like be mad. It's like at God, because we don't have this like we've not been trained to be challenged by God's holiness.
Yeah, no,
to be transformative in God's. It's like I'd love to think that there'd be like tons of Davids, but it's like I actually think there might be more like.
But David's reaction is what you're saying at first. He's mad.
Yeah. But it doesn't lead. It leads to change.
ultimately.
Yeah, but I think our tendency now,
yeah,
is when we're challenged to just ignore it. Or
no, certainly, and that's I guess when the gospel comes to any person, it always has one of two effects. It either softens them or hardens them. And so I guess I'm using that kind of as a framework of either it's going to soften us and it's going to lead us to repentance, or it's going to harden us, and that's where I'm saying like. I think the reaction would be we explain it away. But you could also be right in that the hardening could be an anger.
Yeah.
Who is that? Like we want nothing to do with this God. That's ridiculous. I thought he was a God of love. He's just a tyrant.
Yeah.
So certainly.
So then the second part, how do we as a church kind of cultivate the transformative power of worship?
Yeah. How do we? Particularly, or as Americans, as the church at large?
As the church at large.
How do we try to...
Not specifically what we do at our church. You can certainly point to some of that. But I really think, like, have we missed the boat on this? Have we, like, just think about modern worship music. Like, does it challenge us to be more obedient? Does it challenge us to be repentant? Does it challenge us to be these, does it challenge us to be more like God?
Well, it's interesting. I think some of it does, and I think some of it grossly does not. There are some bands and artists out there that are, really trying to push that. Like I think about, what's the group that we like that's like Hillsong with good theology? That's how they describe themselves. They were did you see this last time?
Get the Gettys?
No, the time before that.
Oh, the Australians.
Yeah. They're like all part-time
I don't
in the
remember.
band.
I don't remember.
Oh, man. We sing a couple of their songs, like the one that's like John 3:16. Oh, man.
What are they called? They sing that song that I love that's like Jesus.
Jesus
that ends
Strong
with
and Kind?
That ends with Jesus Loves Me. Yeah, Jesus Strong and Kind. By... Brent's looking it up on his new iPhone 17 Pro Max, brought to you by Apple.
It's hard to search for something you can't remember. What
product placement? Jesus Strong. Just search Jesus Strong and Kind.
Jesus.
City of Light.
City of Light.
It just came to me.
Yeah.
City of Light.
That's it. So I think their lyrics, the Gettys. I think there are some groups out there that, their songs are still weighty and thought provoking and theologically rich.
And challenging.
And challenging. Right? And all that. And so I think there are a lot of churches that are trying to reclaim what has been lost in the kind of contemporary music shift, where it's really a lot of individualism. It's a lot of, here's how I feel. I've been going through this.
This is how I fight my battles.
This is how, how this is how.
This is how I fight my battles.
Right. And, so you hear the joke sometimes. It's like a modern Christian worship song. It's like you got a person, you got some sort of storm language or some sort of, there's some weather happening, and whatever. But so it's like very individual, very like my challenge. Let me overcome this thing, whatever. And it's like, but when you go back and look at the great hymns of old, it's like my favorite line is in Luther's "A Mighty Fortress." And it's like, this body they may kill, but God's truth abideth still. And just like when you
that is not like slaying your giants or whatever. It's like getting killed.
Yeah, they're going to kill me, but that doesn't make the truth. Yeah, it doesn't make the truth go away.
Yeah.
It's like when you go back and listen to that song, and some of it's hard to understand because the language is a little archaic. But it's like when you actually understand what he's saying, it's like, oh, this is intense. And so it's like trying to recover some of that, both in redoing some of those old songs and writing new ones that are richer, I think is our attempt as the church to recapture this. He is good, but he's not tame. Kind of thing. Whereas I think some of that touchy-feely, Jesus is my boyfriend, here's my storm, I'm fighting my battle, stuff is like, just like weak sauce. I don't know. It's just like, it doesn't do anything. Well, I think what the attempt of that was to make me feel better and give me an emotional high and give me goosebumps on my, whatever. But that's not what we need.
Tell me if you think this makes sense.
Yeah.
You seeing kind of these more popular, more sort of touchy-feely, self-empowerment songs. That's like I'm fighting my battles, I'm conquering my storms. All of those things. I'm slaying my giants. I'm like God's good warrior or God's good servant or whatever. That's the kind of thinking that leads you to put your hand up and try to stop the ark. Like, would you say that's true?
Certainly can be. Yeah. Like,
it's like I'm strong. God has empowered me to do that. I can do this.
Well, yeah, because in a lot of ways, one of those this movement we're seeing is it's the power of positive thinking.
Yeah,
wrapped in Christianity.
With like a Jesus coat on. Yeah, like a WWJD bracelet.
It's like your best life now. You're awesome. You're this, whatever. And it's because God empowers you. You're going to be rich. You're going to be powerful. You're going to have no mental health issues. You're going to be successful, make a bunch of money. You're great.
Yeah.
Tell us about how great you are in Jesus' name.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you touch the ark
and you die.
Yeah. And what it really is Ezra 7, like sackcloth and ashes.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, but then when God is triumphant is when you look like David, who's dancing naked.
Yeah.
Not for him or anything he did.
Yeah.
But for God's return. There was not an iota of we did this, in his celebration that we see that you talked about later on. Let's talk about that scene for a second. What do you think we can learn from that moment of David about worship, about particularly freedom in worship, and what Tim Keller would call the art of self-forgetfulness in worship?
Well, yeah. So they get the ark back, make more sacrifices, and he's not completely naked. He's wearing an ephod, whatever the heck that is. So he's got some kind of loincloth
No, I think
on.
he's naked.
Naked.
No, just kidding. It does say he's wearing that. I'm not just saying
yeah.
the Bible says this and I think different.
But so they get there, he's dancing, and his wife, who is Saul's daughter, Michael, sees him out the
Boy
way.
name, by the way.
Yeah. And she sees him. And
I don't know why I was mad about it, but here we are.
And she just has disdain in her heart and looks down upon him. And she's like, basically she's like, this is not the way a king should behave. This is not the way a king should present himself. All these people are seeing you and they're not going to respect you now. And David rebukes her. And it's like, hey, God rejected your father and his household and he's chosen me.
I think that's the most direct we've ever seen David about the failure of Saul.
Yeah.
And the fall. Like he honestly is always just honorable to Saul, is grieving Saul when he dies.
Yeah.
And but it's like this moment really is I think the harshest David is. Why do you think that?
Oh man. I guess because it's finally here and Saul's gone and really, I think he's rebuking his wife.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. And so, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's almost, and it almost feels like Saul has lived this life that is so dishonorable to God. And David is trying to honor God with his entire self. And he's getting rebuked for that. And it just feels a little bit like, he's like, look, you're holding on to the stuff that got Saul.
Yeah, we ain't gonna have nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
Drawing a line in the sand.
Yes.
So he rebukes her, and keeps dancing. And what I think
we did the worm.
I hope so. It is always funny to me. Side note, like when in the worship wars, when people would be like, we don't need drums in worship. It's like, have you seen how many times in the Old Testament they're banging cymbals?
Yeah.
So,
Brent, they didn't say cymbals. They said drums.
Okay.
Can you imagine Brandon Alexander up there just with the cymbals? It's just silence.
For the ding.
We should get a gong.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
But I think the big thing to learn there is I think it was David Crowder who wrote a song, I think probably inspired by this, called Undignified. Right. And so he says to his wife that, hey, to honor God, if I'll become even more undignified than this. You think this is bad? I'll do more.
Yeah.
If I've got to be humbled and do whatever before God to honor him, I don't care. And so David Crowder sang a song back in the day, like, I'll become even more undignified than this. And so I remember growing up, it's like, I don't even know what that word means.
Even though you used the word archaic like 10 minutes ago.
I know, when I was younger. And so what I think we learn is like exactly what you said, the art of self-forgetfulness. It's like, if in your mind you're thinking about whether you think people are going to think of you positively or negatively, right? It's like either are people going to think I'm weird? Are people going to think I'm overly spiritual? Are people going to think that I think I'm more spiritual than I am? Like, if you're even thinking about what other people are going to think about you, you've already messed up.
Yeah.
Like you missed the boat.
Yeah.
And so the whole point is like, how is the Spirit leading you into worship? And you do that.
Gosh, I don't even remember where I was when this happened, but I was at a worship service and there was a girl behind me that had just a great voice, like amazing voice. And so at the end of service, I don't know, I just turned around and I was like, hey, I just want you to know, yeah, you have a great voice. And you know what her response was? She said, I'm sorry. Like she thought she was like being distracting.
Oh, interesting.
Like with her voice.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. I was like, it was like beautiful to hear you sing. And then she said, oh, well, thanks. She was like, God has just really gifted me with that. But her first instinct was like, I don't want to be a distraction.
Yeah.
And I was really taken aback by that. When she said, I'm sorry. I was like, what are you sorry for? You sound great. But she was worried that I was more focused on her than I was on worship. And so she had this concern. Yeah. She was like, sorry. Like,
no,
so I thought it's this moment that's always stuck with me.
Yeah. I was thinking about back in my life, like when I was a youth at youth camp, right? And like, you see other people raising their hands and you're like, all right, can I do it? It's like the most stressful thing in the world.
You get it's the Tim Hawkins bit where he talks about all the different.
Yeah, you got to carry the TV widescreen.
You're slowly you get one hand up like here, head level.
Yeah, but it's like you go through this anxiety and stress and worry about what everybody's going to think about. Like you're like you're not thinking about God, or maybe it's like there's this battle between I think I should do this,
or just I feel the desire.
Yeah,
right?
like I want to do this, but I'm so worried what everybody else is going to think about me. And it's just like, you just got to like forget that crap.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't care what they think, good, bad, and indifferent. Maybe they don't think about me at all, and that bothers me, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's just like, just what the audience would want. It's just like, just what the Lord wants.
Yeah. So how do we shape our worship to be more like David and like less concerned and less like Michael and like trying to police what's allowed or whatever? Because I don't think any of us are in there like, I mean, I think some people can be like this, like they shouldn't do that in worship or whatever, But I think ours is a little more subtle. And so how do we sort of just in our own selves evaluate, how can I be more like David in this moment and less like Michael?
That's a really hard question. I guess you got to do the introspective thinking about, okay, what do I do now? Do I sing? Do I not sing? Do I raise my hands? Do I not raise my hands? Do I do X, Y, or Z? And what do I do? And why do I not do more? Have I felt led to do something that I didn't do? And why did I not do that? And just like, as you're kind of being thoughtful about that, and like the next time you're prompted to do something and there's a hesitancy in you.
Yeah. Why? Just evaluate why.
Yeah. Where's that coming from? And so then to just be training yourself to like, you know what? I don't care what other people think. So if I feel led to do it, I'm going to do it. So
is this question just came to my head? Is there a place internally inside of yourself to say, I'm not going to do this because I don't want it to be distracting to someone else?
That's a really hard question. I want to say yeah, but then at the same time, I could probably make an argument either way. It's like if I feel led to run around the room and scream like a crazy person, it's like, well, David's kind of doing that. But also it's like the context is different.
Yeah,
there's a difference in being like in a corporate regular worship gathering of church and like this is a very unique moment.
I struggle to use this moment as like a prescriptive measure for what we should do in corporate worship because you're right, it is like this is more like a military celebration parade than it is like a worship service, like a corporate worship service.
And so I think there are
like a little bit David is the center of attention. Like he's like the worship leader almost.
True, certainly. Yeah. And so I do think there are norms, and then there are things that you can push those norms a little bit. And then I think there are things that it's like, hey, you know what? That's probably too much. That's probably wrong. Like if you're like, you know what? I just feel led to bring fireworks in here and shoot them off.
Well, it's like
probably don't do that.
I sit around a bunch of junior high school boys, and it's like if you tell them like they can just like scream at the top of their lungs, and it's like they're gonna do it. Yeah. Right. And then it's like if I'm like, hey guys, keep it down. They're like, but I'm being sincere. And so one, it's like, are you actually being sincere? But also going back to something I said earlier, I think there is like having a concern for the body, the community, right? For the gathered body of because there are cultural norms, between even different denominations. And so I don't want to be like, hey, Presbyterians, the frozen chosen, y'all are doing it wrong, which certainly some of them could be, but it's just sort of like a cultural norm,
Yeah, their culture's part of it, and personality is also a part of it. It's not to say like you have to go and be like super free and loosey-goosey. That's not your personality, because I don't think the guy that has his hands in the air is worshiping more than the guy who's being, really thoughtful and reflective. We just don't want to be in the place where it's like, I'm feeling led that I should do this other thing, and I'm not. Yeah. The other interesting thing to consider here is, the Bible commands singing. It also does command in a few places the raising of hands. And so, put my hands
trying to be obedient.
That's right. And so it's like, there's a place to say, hey, like, God's commanded us to do this.
Let's do it.
I don't know the frequency. Yeah. It doesn't say exactly. So there are times where we should do it. So, okay, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's difficult.
It is.
And if there's one thing I think we can learn from the life of David, it's stop trying to look at things from the outside and make evaluations.
Yeah.
Right? It's really up to what's happening internally with someone. So, don't be the guy looking around being like, these people aren't worshiping enough. They're not worshiping as, the way I think they should.
Yeah. And you talk, it's interesting. We talk about the corporate reality of like, wait, we don't want to be distracting. The opposite is also true. Like when you worship more genuinely, like it actually spurs other people to worship genuinely. Because it's like, it's like when I'm preaching and someone says amen, that does nothing but encourage me, right? And builds me up, right? And the more people talk or clap or get into it.
Someone told me they didn't want to say amen the other day because they didn't want people to look at them.
Yeah. Oh, see, I'm going to bring that back up.
That's funny.
I love it when people say amen.
I'll give you a come on or
yeah.
But it's not loud because you're right in front of me. I don't have to be that loud.
Yeah. I can see you nodding your head. See, even a nod's good. But like for me, it's like I think about
even a nod's good.
I think about like there are times when we'll sing a song and we'll get to this part that's like about the resurrection, right? And I want us all together to clap in that moment, like in the middle of the song.
Yeah.
And hoop
Let's
and holler
celebrate.
Hoop and holler a little bit.
Hoop.
That
was hoot.
You're right. It's hoot.
Oh, I was like hoop.
Hoot and holler.
Balla.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Dude, someone told me you sound like an owl while you're preaching.
What?
Yeah, someone told me you sound like an owl.
What does that even mean?
You just said hoot.
Oh.
I was going to try to make you say who. Like an owl.
So it's like, I want that. And I think that's actually encouraging to me and everybody around. It's like, this is exciting.
Yeah.
And so, so both you can be distracted corporately and you can
encourage.
You can spur it on.
Yeah. Which is one of the reasons it says to gather together, right? Is to spur one another on to love and good works.
Yeah.
And so, I think that's definitely true. All right, last question, and I'll give you the last word on this. How does this story or these stories ultimately point us to who Jesus is and how we can be better followers of him?
I think two big ways. One is in the sacrifice, right? So you realize, hey, the way you get the presence of God into your life isn't just by you prancing in there, but through sacrifice. So it wasn't just Uzzah who had to die. Jesus had to die to get the presence of God into your city, or the sacrifices that David make along the way, both of those things. Jesus, unlike Uzzah rightfully died by the justice of God, Jesus wrongfully, in a sense, like unjustly died in our place in the presence of God. And so I think the sacrifice stuff, but then also, the way Michael's looking at David is the same way that the religious leaders looked at Jesus. Why would you act? He must be demon possessed to act like this. He's not doing things the way we think.
They've got that new wine.
That's right.
As they say in the New Testament.
Yeah, they like this is not how a religious leader should act. This is not how a prophet should act. You should be more dignified than that. You should say these things. You should go along with the flow. But like David, Jesus is only looking to please his Father, not the stuffy, robed, lifting your head up high people. Doesn't care about them. He cares what his Father thinks. And so he's going to say the thing, he's going to do the thing that's going to please his Father, not please everybody else.
That's great. Well, thanks for joining us for the recap. We hope this conversation has encouraged you to keep striving to make Jesus essential in every aspect of your life. If you aren't part of our church family, we'd love to meet you on a Sunday morning. We gather for worship at 10:30 a.m. For more information, you can always go to myfellowship.church. Thanks for listening. Be blessed.